Hello, my name is Amanda Elliott with Main Street America. The Main Street approach offers a practical, adaptable framework for downtown transformation through community-based revitalization initiatives that are easily tailored to local conditions. The Main Street approach helps communities get started with revitalization and then grows them as they adapt over time. The 4 points are a framework for addressing and considering the essential components of a thriving commercial district. While each point is important individually, the most successful Main Street communities are those that have a balanced approach to the 4 points, with each receiving an equal amount of attention to realize the unified community vision. This video will focus on exploring the organization point in more detail to provide you with an introduction to how it's relevant and applicable to your downtowns and neighborhood commercial districts. Organization involves creating a strong foundation for a sustainable revitalization effort, including cultivating partnerships, community involvement, and resources for the district. Organization builds leadership and strong organization capacity, ensures broad community engagement, and fosters partnerships across all sectors. Organization creates a shared vision that converts the Main Street mission into clear goals and defines the organization's role in revitalizing the commercial district and translates the vision into an action plan that adapts the 4-point Main Street approach to fit the neighborhood. Organization also builds a strong foundation and develops strong partnerships that expand the program by making the resources of other organizations available to help projects get done. It also builds structure for the board and staff of the Main Street organization. The key components of organization development include strategic planning, diversify revenue streams, volunteer recruitment, and board development. Establishing and building relationship lays the foundation for a strong organization. It requires one-to-one contact to build trust with key stakeholders. Be sure to connect broadly to all segments of the community, paying particular attention to groups that may traditionally not have been included. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are linked to the important components for establishing strong stakeholder support. Cultural competency is critical and may require translation services. Groups may include property owners or developers, businesses, city agencies, and line staff, city council members and other elected officials, residents and civic associations, nonprofit organizations, anchor institutions, churches, hospitals, and more. Partnerships with nonprofits and city agencies expand the ability to advance your revitalization goals. Collaborations are one of the most valuable tools for all Main Street programs. They are especially important in neighborhood commercial districts where community-based entities have a strong presence. Organization creates structure for your Main Street and staff. There are a variety of ways Main Street programs can be established. The existing entity must have a mission that encompasses or is closely aligned with commercial district revitalization. Community development and economic development entities are most likely to meet this criterion for Main Street programs. Many programs are also established as standalone nonprofit 501c3 agencies. Individuality in program creation allows flexibility for each community to build an organization structure that works best for them while still allowing the Main Street 4-point approach. The existing entity must possess strong leadership, staff capacity, and management systems. Staff expertise in program areas such as urban design, real estate development, or small business assistance is highly desirable. First, decide whether to implement the Main Street program through an existing entity or a new organization. The existing entity must have good standing relationships with key concerned groups and stakeholders. Funding for Main Street revitalization should be a priority for both private and public sectors. Any organization, business, or individual who might benefit from the district's revitalization should invest in the program. In communities where true public-private partnership is embraced, the local government might pay for the Main Street manager's salary and training expenses, while programs that are 501c3 raise money through grants, sponsorships, special events, and other fundraising efforts. Create a team of board leaders, senior staff, and possibly consultants to develop and oversee a fundraising strategy. Recruit at least one board member with previous fundraising experience to take an active role. Devote time to building relationships with potential funding sources and learn how the Main Street program can address their funding goals. Program funding is not the same as project funding. The program needs an ongoing financial support to cover operation cost. Main Street America recommends that all local programs have an assorted and diversified revenue stream. Having a variety of funding streams helps support the financial stability of the program and ensures that any change in funding from a primary source will not negatively impact the progress efforts in the community. Work with the Main Street team to evaluate the program structure and identify opportunities to grow and strengthen the organization's local impact. Local revenue from businesses, property owners, residents, and visitors helps to build a sustained funding base. Businesses and property owners can support Main Street programs by contributing a share of their association's revenue, making a multi-year funding pledge, and creating a business improvement district. A business improvement district is a special assessment district that funds Main Street activities and must be approved by property owners and city government. Special fundraising events, membership dues, and direct contributions raise revenue from residents, while special events and sale of merchandise, for example, T-shirts and calendars, also generate revenue from visitors. Corporate donations and in-kind contributions are another important funding source. For example, the Boston Main Street program created a corporate buddy system whereby major corporations provide $10,000 a year to Main Street programs for 4 years. In many cases, these contributions have led to a larger commitment of board participation, volunteers, and additional financial support. Corporate sponsorships also can generate in-kind contributions, such as donations of materials for facade renovations, installation of banners, and supply of pro bono legal services. Government grants are a critical source for operating support, especially in the early years, for facade and infrastructure improvements and for financing gaps in development projects. While most programs readily gain city funding for operating costs, securing several hundred or thousand or $1 million for infrastructure and development projects is a far greater challenge. Foundation grants fund Main Street programs in several cities, especially when the programs are based in community development corporations. Since funding opportunities reflect local foundation priorities, practitioners need to become familiar with these organizations. In cities where intermediaries such as LISC or enterprise community partners assemble funding to support community development initiatives, practitioners should study the funding opportunities and requirements for these initiatives. Since foundations focus on program results and how efforts will be sustained, funding proposals need to address these concerns persuasively. Committees plan and oversee program components and provide volunteers to help make projects happen. The committee structure should reflect the local Main Street strategy rather than automatically replicating the standard 4-committee structure. Consider using the organization committee and governing board to oversee hiring, fundraising, and other organizational development matters. Create subcommittees to focus on more demanding or high-priority activities. For example, the design committee might create a subcommittee for project design review or to prepare plans to address parking problems. Consider adding new committees to undertake crime and public safety initiatives or other major activities or events. Coordinate the plans and work of each committee through board oversight, annual planning, and regular communication among committee members. Volunteers help to gain committee support and provide community outreach. Volunteers also provide special expertise and help to accomplish more with limited funds. Engaging with volunteers demonstrates community support for the program. Volunteers help prevent manager-director burnout by providing extra help for projects, programs, and events. Volunteer engagement also creates opportunities for youth involvement. Be sure to create job descriptions for your volunteer roles with projects, events, and programs attached. You can recruit volunteers a number of ways: one-on-one, community TV bulletins, brochures, posters, walk-in traffic, booths at community events, public service announcements, corporations, newsletters, neighborhood festivals, sponsors, partnerships with other groups, churches, schools, and universities. Remember to celebrate your success. Create annual reports that give partners, collaborators, and key community stakeholders a full update of your work, demonstrating the positive impact you're making on your district and downtown using numbers, data, and pictures. A picture says 1,000 words and is often the best way to tell your story. The organization point of the Main Street approach creates value and broad community support through measurable impact. While the organization point can be thought of and addressed as we've discussed in this video, there are also plenty of ways that it interacts with the other 3 points. Each point is essential, but the 4 points work best when they are used in relationship and in tandem to one another. For example, organization can play an important role in economic vitality by creating relationships that support the development of a strong entrepreneurial ecosystem. Organization can create excellent opportunities for partnerships or volunteer pools, while for promotions, organization can contribute unique assets that set the district apart and tell a story all about its culture. If you're interested in learning more about the Main Street approach, be sure to check out the other videos in our Main Street Foundation series to learn more about how each of the 4 points contributes to creating and supporting a thriving downtown or neighborhood commercial district. You can also visit our website, mainstreet.org, to find more resources, access additional tools, and learn about our membership and grant opportunities.